what do you hope men take away after watching this film?
I want men to be empowered after watching this video. I want men to take the first step, to have the conversation, either with, if they have a spouse at home, to talk about what they're feeling, or to talk to their doctor. I think we don't do that as men enough, especially for me coming from a Caribbean background. You know, there's a lot of stigma with that, with you know, shame, like you said, and not wanting to take your health seriously. But what I want is for people to just watch the video and, you know, feel empowered, learn from these gentlemen and what they went through, and take the first step.
Hello, and welcome to a bonus episode of 20 Minute Health Talk. I'm Sandra Lindsay. My guest today is Richard LaRochelle, Principal for Community Health at Northwells Institute for Community Health and Wellness. Richard has a passion for amplifying community voices, and he put that into action through an educational video that brought together men, including community leader Tony Hillery and NBA great Allan Houston, to speak candidly about their prostate cancer journeys. That project not only broke the silence around a too often unspoken truth, but it also earned a Telly Award. Richard, I'm excited to talk to you today.
Thank you.
So let's jump right into it. What inspired you to take on this project and use this educational video as a way to talk about prostate cancer?
Yeah, so we all know, like, the statistics about prostate cancer and how it disproportionately affects Black men. And after my father's diagnosis in 2018, having to see what he went through, and a few years later, hearing about Mitch Cornett, who my colleague is, how the struggle that he went through dealing with prostate cancer, we felt compelled to put a video together to put real voices, real faces to the disease, and just to have people just feel open about talking about it. I think that's what really resonated with folks, because you could see statistics on paper and understand the effects of the disease, but when you actually hear someone talking about their journey and what they went through, I think it moves people more, and it gives people just the okay to talk about it, with other colleagues, other friends, their spouse, so that was the real reason to really just put real faces and voices to those who are going through it.
That's amazing. And we spoke to Mitch earlier in episode 2 and heard his powerful story. So you got together some really powerhouse men.
Yes.
Our very own Mitch Cornett.
Yes.
You spoke with Tony Hillery, founder and executive director of Harlem Grown, who does amazing work in Harlem. Allan Houston, former New York Knicks star, Reverend Malcolm Byrd, among others. What was that like?
Oh, it was incredible. Putting this group together was sort of like a dream come true. We had our individuals that we've spoken to privately about, them dealing with prostate cancer, and to be able to get all of them in a room together to discuss it as a group, I couldn't ask for anything more. I mean, it was exactly what we were hoping for. It would be. I mean, you mentioned Tony Hillery and you mentioned Allan Houston. These gentlemen are leaders in their community. Tony, for the work that he does in Harlem, and for what Allan Houston has done in his NBA career, to be able to hear from them firsthand what they went through and how they overcame, hearing about their prostate cancer diagnosis, it was incredible just to see a leader. I think that what gives other people permission to be able to say, you know what, if these guys can do it, they can talk about it and they can feel comfortable about it, I can too, and I think them putting their health first and just speaking frankly about it with a group of other men, it was incredible just to hear it.
I agree. I enjoyed watching the video. They were very open and honest. And as a matter of fact, I spoke to Alan's wife, Tamara, and Mary Hillary about their experience as caregivers. You had to have created a safe space for these men to be able to open up and share. So how did you do that? Because they were so candid.
Yeah, and that was the big tricky part of us putting this together, was that we wanted to create that environment of trust. And so we wanted to make it similar to like a barbershop feel. So we,
because men talk all kind of stuff at the barbershop. Exactly. That's your safe space.
That's the safe space. So once we created that type of environment, I mean, the way we did it, and all credit goes to American Cancer Society for being able to have us hosted at the Hope Lodge. And what we did was we designed the room to make it seem like a more intimate discussion that we were going to have. And a lot of things happen, a lot of conversations happen at barbershops, and what we want to do is kind of mimic that a little bit. Even before we started filming, we all spoke about regular, common things that were going on. We talked about sports, we talked about music. And then once it was time for us to sit down and, for these gentlemen to sit down and talk about, their health journey, it was like you're talking to a group of friends. Yeah, right? That you've never, it's like you've known them for years. Yeah. And that's, I think, what made the difference and made them feel a little bit more comfortable.
And that's what it felt like speaking to the wives.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for our audience to hear that episode. As a storyteller, though, what moments in filming stood out to you the most? Was there a conversation or an insight that really stayed with you?
So if you watch the video, Mitch Cornett talks very candidly and frankly about what happened, during his cancer diagnosis. And when he said that his doctor told him that he may not be able to walk down the aisle, walk his daughter down the aisle, that struck a chord with me. I know it struck a chord with a lot of men that watched the video as well. Their spouses and caregivers were watching as well. And, hearing something like that, you get taken aback by it. And it makes you stop to think and like, wow, that, the impact that can have on my family if I don't put my health first, if I don't, speak more frankly about what's going on with me. I think hearing that to me was the most poignant moment of the video. And the fact that Mitch did everything in his power to make sure that will happen. He took his health serious, and it's inspiring just to hear him, to hear Tony, to hear Alan just talking about how they, said, we're going to take our health serious. We're going to go to the doctor. We're going to get checked. We're going to get screened, and we're going to be able to talk about it as a group of guys and know that there's no stigma. There's nothing wrong.
There's no shame. We didn't do anything wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah. The video was so inspiring. And by the way, how can our listeners access the video? Where can they find it?
Sure. So the video lives on our Cancer Institute website, northwell.edu/Cancer Institute. You can also find it on YouTube by searching The Unspoken Truth. And we've screened it at different community health centers. We screened it at churches, and we screened it with other folks in the community leaders to have them share it as well. So, but you can find it on YouTube and on the Cancer Institute website.
And we will be sharing it here in the links on our podcast site. So, Richard, what do you hope men take away after watching this film?
I want men to be empowered. After watching this video, I want men to take the first step, to have the conversation, either with, if they have a spouse at home, to talk about what they're feeling, or to talk to their doctor. I think we don't do that as men enough, especially for me coming from a Caribbean background. There's a lot of stigma with that, with shame, like you said, and not wanting to take your health seriously. But what I want is for people to just watch the video and, feel empowered, learn from these gentlemen and what they went through, and take the first step.
We also want our women to watch the video because sometimes they're the ones to nudge the men.
Absolutely.
To take charge. So congratulations on winning the Telly Award. What did that recognition mean to you and to the men who bravely share their stories?
Thank you so much. For me, the video, the Telly Award meant a lot to me, but I think all credit goes to the men who were who were featured in the video. I think for them to be able to have the courage to speak the way that they spoke, and for the video to be shared around the world, because the Telly Award, it gets spread out throughout 6 different continents, which means that a lot of people have seen it. And I think it gives that validation to show that there's a group of men to sit down, for this group of men to sit down and talk so candidly about their health meant a lot. So I give all credit to those gentlemen who were on that panel and who bravely talked about their health journey.
Amazing, amazing work. And you're being modest, but kudos to you
so much.
As well for using your personal experience and that of your colleague to say, hey, we need to get a group of men together, get a group of men together to talk about this. So how do you see this film being used going forward, whether in community health outreach, education, or how can we use this to inspire other conversations?
Yeah, so I would love to see this video played everywhere, at all the community centers community health centers.
Every barbershop.
Barbershops, that's another place, churches.
We'll take it to the beauty salons as well.
Anywhere that anyone could be able to watch the video, I think is important. Obviously, we have the online platform where the video lives on YouTube. That obviously could be the number one place to share it. But I want, as a group viewing experience, to share it with, anyone in your community leaders. I think it's important to show it to as many people as possible, and hopefully we could save some lives.
Well, Richard, thank you so much for sitting down to share with me. I can't congratulate you enough.
Thank you so much.
I look forward to more storytelling to highlight some of our health challenges and to just educate our communities.
Yes.
Whenever you do another video or anything else you'd like to highlight, please come back to 20-Minute Health Talk. You have a home here.
Thank you.
And to our listeners, thank you so much for listening. Be well, and thank you for listening. I'm Sandra Lindsay.